Welcome to episode 4 of FSO KX Business Insight podcast series. My name is Joe Rossi. In our new digital economy, companies are now looking for ways to improve customer experience. Technologies such as IBM's Watson, online chat boxes, and personalized thank you pages are some of the tactics used to retain customers through a first-rate customer experience. As anyone knows, the frustration that comes from trying to navigate an online form requiring multiple steps, detailed information, can discourage users away from the site. One company trying to solve the problem is a TBAS partner, Toonimo, a digital adoption guidance platform using audio and visual cues to guide users through complex online applications. As part of our commitment to spreading awareness of our partner services, we're excited to take a different approach to our podcast this month as we show an edited recording of a Toonimo sales demo. The presenters, Dan Kalicki, CEO and co-founder of Toonimo, and Gabe Newman, head of sales, walk viewers through a company background, describe the platform benefits, and provide an example of walkthroughs on how the platform works across various industries. Additionally, they list integrations overlays available to Toonimo. Beyond Toonimo, also specialize in digital onboarding, employee training, change management, and conversion improvement. With Toonimo, their clients have found the increased user satisfaction, a boost in engagement as their platform has made it possible for companies to decrease customer headaches. Using Toonimo's text and audio guidance features, their clients are now prepared to offer real-time assistance while helping their customers through everything from visa applications to finding insurance. Please stay tuned as we present Toonimo for Everyone, a digital guidance platform. Thank you.
So who is Toonimo? So very high level, we're not new. We've been around for the better part of a decade, and we're known as a leading digital adoption platform. It's an enterprise digital adoption platform, and we sit in that specific space. And what we've done, what we set out to do pretty much over the last 10 years is to humanize the overall learning and training processes for any end users that are navigating inside any application, looking to essentially fulfill any task on the fly or essentially navigate inside any web app. And this process of training is in the form of real-time, step-by-step guidance. And the experience is comprised of real-time text bubbles and a patented audio visual experience on the fly. We're the only company that does that within the space. And audio visual essentially is an animated coach mark or a library of animated coach marks with real-time audio. And it's known in the space as being the most interactive and engaging, kind of virtually like, you could almost think of it like simulating placing a virtual support agent or a virtual head of learning and development or a trainer next to the end user at the point of need when they come up against that challenge, right? So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. We have offices both in New York and also in Tel Aviv, and we've also been featured in a lot of the major media outlets out there. So as it relates to a digital adoption platform, really, what is the purpose, right? What is the goal here? The benefits are to enhance the overall training and onboarding processes, whether it's for either internal employees within GDIT or GDIT partners, or external consumers if they're navigating on any kind of web URL or any kind of supplier portal. We could certainly streamline the onboarding process and reduce the time to onboard, right? Increasing the overall user adoption and productivity across a portfolio of applications. You really want to enable the self-service training and task fulfillment. So what does that mean? You want end users to be able to navigate inside any application and fulfill tasks on their own without relying on any kind of external support, because that could potentially slow down the process and increase cost, right? So our goal is to reduce costs from a training or support perspective. And we're all about accessibility and inclusion. So what does that mean? We have technology that allows us to foster that type of experience with our accessibility widget. And we call them walkthroughs. You're going to see them in a second. Our walkthroughs have the ability to be auto-translated into any language whatsoever. So if there's an end user and they're going through any kind of funnel and English is not their first language, there's no issues there. The walkthroughs could be pushed out in 40 to 50 different languages on the fly, no problem. And the end result really is an increase in user satisfaction and brand loyalty for sure. So let's get to the more engaging and interactive parts. Let's show you exactly what we're talking about. So the first use case I'm going to show you is more for internal employee training needs, right? Toonimo supports CRMs, HCMs, ERPs, procurement tools. We can overlay on top of these existing applications. So right now you're looking at Toonimo's Salesforce test environment. It's our CRM that we utilize internally. Now, let's just say, I'm a new employee. I'm logging into Salesforce. I see that there's a chat. Okay, Dan, if you don't mind, maybe you can, help with the chat, or Patrick as well.
Yeah,
Keep the questions coming. So right now you'll notice that there's a widget on the bottom right-hand corner. It says Get Started. That's Toonimo overlaying on top of Salesforce, right? So I could click into it, and now you're going to have a library of walkthroughs, right, or use cases living inside it that an end user can access on demand at any point in time. Or what we can also do is have a curriculum sitting inside here. So if I click on this, what's great about this is that this is a great use case to utilize for maybe someone that's going through new hire orientation. Maybe you're doing some type of huge change management initiative and you're migrating from one system to another, and you want end users to be able to fulfill tasks on their own without relying on any kind of support. You could have a library of walkthroughs or use cases living inside here. And what's great about that is that the end user has the ability to track their completion percentage on the actual curriculum. And then the client will have the ability to track, are their users doing what they're supposed to be doing? They could be held accountable to it as well. And you could really measure the time to onboard into that specific application. To take it a step further, since we could auto-translate any of the guidance into any language, you could even have a language center like this. So if I click on it, right? Let's just say I click on Spanish. Well, now everything's auto-translated into Spanish. Or, maybe I want it in Japanese. Now everything's in Japanese. So we could cater the experience to anyone from any market, okay? So we'll bring it back to English for this sake. Now let's just say that I want to look up an account and then change the name of the account owner. So all I have to do is click into accounts, find the walkthrough that I want, whether I want it in audio, text. We even have RPA. We'll show you an example of that in a second. I'll click into text because we'll show you a text bubble walkthrough first. And now all of a sudden, Toonimo fires off on top of the system, right? So we're just going to go from step 1 to step 2. Follow along in the process, click to open menu. I will happily click on that. So all I'm doing is just following the bubbles across the page. Click accounts. I will click on accounts. Type in the account name and select it from the list. So we'll select a specific account. We're in our test environment, so I'll just click on Toonimo, right? And if we remember, the use case was looking up an account and then changing the name of its owner. Right now, the owner's name is Dan. Let's change that. So all I have to do is click here. This area was highlighted, and we see a text bubble pointing to this element. I'll click on Change Owner. Now we're coming up on the final step. Type in the new account owner's name. I'll click on My Name. Click Submit, and now all of a sudden, we were able to fulfill that task on the fly. So think about, I just went through a 10-step process. If I've never logged into Salesforce or any application whatsoever, I would have no idea how to do that. And now I could go through it like I'm an expert with a ton of hand-holding and a ton of comfort. So I have the ability to do that right now utilizing Toonimo. What you also have the ability to do is you could even search. So we have a search mechanism. So if I wanted to search for anything that has to do with leads, obviously all the leads walkthroughs pop up as well. And you could also see that we have a chat bot. Let's show you an example now of RPA. So The reason why we made a bunch of recordings is because we're going to be able to actually share this with you post-call, so you could view them and you could even distribute them internally if you felt that that would be of value. So right now, what you're going to look at is the same use case, but an end user saying, I don't want to go through all the steps. Maybe I've never done this before. I want Toonimo to do it for me. So let's watch a recording of a user going through it. So now they're going to trigger the knowledge base, but instead this time, they're going to click on the chatbot. They're going to write the chatbot saying, how do I change? It could be anything, but how do I change account owner? The chatbot recognizes it. It gives them an option and it says, please enter the name of the account you'll be changing the owner to. So all the owner really needs to do here is type in the name. Oh, sorry, here we go. All they need to do is type in the name of the account. So they're going to type in Toonimo. And now, as you could see on the top, it's doing it for the end user automatically. So we're already up to step 4 here. It's auto typing for them as well. The user is not doing that. And now all of a sudden we're already at the final step. And then once it comes to picking the owner's name, all the end user needs to do is select an owner. That's all they need to do. So what Toonimo is great at is obviously learning and fulfilling tasks on the fly, but we could also take specific repetitive use cases that might be creating headache internally or externally, and maybe something that might take an end user 5-10 minutes to do can now take them 30 seconds, if less, okay? Okay, let's show another example. So this is another example that we built, and it's geared towards either internal employee training or external consumer onboarding for a supplier portal. So what we've done is we've created an experience that's similar to what you saw before with the step-by-step guidance, but now instead, once the end user actually triggers the walkthrough, they're gonna have a modal popping up on either the left or the right-hand side, showcasing all the steps that the end user has not gotten to before. So now the end user is going to know exactly what's ahead of them, so they could understand what to expect and prepare for those steps. So let's show you an example of that. This is a walkthrough inside Salesforce. Again, it's a text bubble walkthrough. And as you can see, here's the modal. And now there's going to be a beacon in the middle of the page that kind of is, definitely very eye-catching. So the end user is going to understand the steps on the left-hand side and be able to go through the steps in the middle utilizing the beacon feature. And then obviously the steps on the left-hand side update accordingly as they go through them. So very intuitive, very engaging. And we're the only company in the space that does anything quite like this as well. Okay. So we're just going through them one by one, and then this is updating itself accordingly. Okay, so I think you get probably the understanding of that. Right on down to the next example. So to take it a step further, we also have a patented voice bot. And this is a brand new technology that we just rolled out. So think of like a Siri type of approach that's bi-directional, it's conversation. So instead of a chat bot that I'm engaging with, I'm actually engaging with the voice bot with my own voice. And based off of what the voice bot detects from my own voice, it could navigate me to any area of the application and then trigger a walkthrough. So this is obviously great additionally for anyone with a disability as well. So, maybe I'm, vision impaired, maybe I have motoric disabilities, I can't type in anything, right? Or maybe English is not my first language. So if I actually speak to the bot in Spanish, it could recognize Spanish and then speak back to me in Spanish as well. So let's show a quick example of this technology as well.
How can I help?
I want to buy insurance.
Do you want to get an insurance quote?
Yes, I do.
Do you want to get a quote for life, car, or homeowner's insurance?
I want to get a quote for life insurance.
Great, let me take you to the right place. Kindly enter your information here. Keep in mind that all information including your social security number will be kept in discretion and will not be shared with any third party.
So as you could see, A human being is interacting with the voice bot. The voice bot detects based off of what answers were on the screen, what the human being says they want to do, and then the voice bot redirects them to an area of the application, and then a walkthrough can begin. So it's pretty cool technology. It's brand new, and it's something that we just patented. So, Patrick, do you mind if I give you the screen and maybe show the team how we build a walkthrough?
Yeah, definitely. Nice to meet you all. My name is Patrick, and I am a senior member of the professional services team here at Toonimo. And as an example of a walkthrough with Toonimo, we're going to create an engagement that walks the user how to do a search in Google. So we're starting our dashboard, which is where we'll manage our various projects and their engagements. It's also where we can access different environments. So right now we're in staging, but we can quickly go to production, and you can have as many environments as you like. The dashboard is also where we can access or build knowledge-based surveys and curriculums. So here you see this container. You can think of this container as a website. For this example, it's Google, and the engagements inside the container will be the walkthrough. So to create a new one, all you have to do is click on add. You'll be prompted to add a title to the engagement. I can do a how to search and click add engagement. Once I click add engagement, you'll actually see the Toonimo editor opening up. This is an extension, and you'll be prompted with a choose an engagement. These are the type of different engagements that we have. For the purpose of this demo, we'll continue with the walkthrough. So I'm gonna click walkthrough. And here you have our editor. On the left, you have our panels, and this is where you can actually see the steps that we'll be creating on here. You can move this from left to right to give you a better view of what you're actually working on in the screen. Next, we're going to determine how the user can activate the walkthrough. And we will do that by creating triggers. So here on play triggers, you click on that and click on add trigger. Here are the different types of triggers that we have. You can have multiple triggers on a page, by the way. Let's start with a trigger button. These are the different layouts that we have for the button. And these buttons are fully customizable. So you can change the background color using the hex code or even our color wheel, as well as text. So let's change this to search. And now once I click on element selection and select, you'll actually see our element detection at work. It uses machine learning in order to track elements on the screen. So let me place this here relative to the Google logo, click on apply, and now you'll actually see our button on the screen. You can move this around, resize it to your liking. I will leave it right here, click done editing. And now let's add one more trigger to this page. Let's actually add this walkthrough to a knowledge base, which will be the pop-up folder at the bottom right of the page. Let's name this how to search and click on apply. And now that we have two ways for the user to initiate the walkthrough, we can actually start building out some steps. So let's click on add. We can actually use our voice patent steps. So click on voice step and enter a script in here. Welcome to Google, type your search in the text box and then click enter to see your results. Once I click on continue to effects, you'll actually see that script at the bottom of the screen. With each voice step, we like to add visual cues to the screen. So for example, here we're talking about this text box. Let me click on text and we can actually add effects to it. So let's do a highlight, change this highlight to a yellow and place it in the web page here. Let's add one more. So once again, click on add, and now let's use coach marks. We have a library of animations. For this one, we can stick with this arrow, place in web page. Let's place it here as well. The coach marks, you can also move them around and resize them to your liking as well. Leave it right here. Click done editing. And now I have created a voice step with visual cues. Now let's finish out the process by adding a bubble step, prompting the user to enter a search term. This is a fully WYSIWYG editor, so you can do things such as bolding, inserting images, and any kind of formatting that you like. We do have continue on triggers, and this will determine how the user will go on to the next step. By default, we use the next button here, but since the user will be typing in the search field, we can actually change this to a done typing. So Toonimo will wait for the user to finish typing. It will recognize that and then move on to the next step. So for the bubbles, you can also resize them and place them wherever you like. Click on editing, and now let's easily save and add another bubble. Let's add this here. Give this one a title, which will be our last step, and tell them to click search to continue. Oops. Okay. Move this here to the left. And now click on editing and save. So now we have two ways for the user to start the walkthrough, follow that up with a voice step with visual cues, and then two bubble steps prompting them how to complete the this walkthrough. So to see this, all you have to do is click on preview. And now what's happening, it's generating what we built, as well as processing the sound. So it's taking that the script that we created and generating into text to speech. As said before, we have different types of ways for text to speech. We can do a regular text to speech, somebody internally in the company that does voiceovers, or a Toonimo voiceover artist as well. Now the preview is ready. All I have to do is click on open preview and you will see Google load up. You have our button that we created, as well as the knowledge base on the bottom right. Once I click on this button, you should be able to hear and see the visual cues. Please let me know if you do.
Welcome to Google. Type your search in the text box and then click enter to see your results.
Is everybody able to hear and see that? Great, okay. So now Toonimo is asking me to enter a search term. Once again, it's going to wait in order for me to finish typing in order to move on. And just like that, we finished this walkthrough. Toonimo also supports multi-language. So let's say, for example, you have a user who speaks Spanish. I can simply go to this knowledge base, and right here where it says English, I can change it to Spanish. And as you can see, the translation happened automatically. So now let's run the walkthrough once again.
Bienvenido a Google. Escriba su búsqueda en el cuadro de texto y luego haga clic en entrar para ver sus resultados.
And as you can see, the audio and bubbles have all gone through an automatic translation as well.